Alright, we're out here now. We're going to repair some chinking on the cabin. The stuff that I used last year when I built the cabin didn't work out. It was kind of a combination of mortar and sawdust. As a recipe I had found, and it didn't work out. Some of it's okay, but we're just going to pull it all out. We're going to redo it. We're going to use type S mortar. It's good strong stuff, but we got to put some nails in. We pulled all the mortar out, cleaned up the joints. We're going to put some nails in, and these are just common nails. Don't need anything fancy, just common nails. Something for the mortar to bite onto, because if it's just in that joint, there's really nothing there for it to bite onto. The fiber in the wood isn't porous enough to grip the mortar. So we just take some nails, drive them down in there, and you can see, if you look up close there, you can see that nail is, that's going to sit below the mortar face. You don't want anything that's going to poke out above the mortar face. So you take the claw of the hammer and knock it down in there a little bit. We do a few of these every 4 to 6 inches or so. And that'll give it something for that mortar to hang on to and not want to come back out of there. So we're going to go along and we're going to do all of these. Then we're going to mix up some mortar. We'll come back and we'll show you how we're putting the mortar in. Alright, we're going to take and mix up half a bag or so of type S mortar here. A little bit goes quite a ways when you're doing chinking like this, so try to mix half a bag or so at a time. And we got to mix it up by hand because we're out here. We don't have any fancy mixers or anything like that. So we're going to get that mixed up, and we're going to throw some chinking on some logs, and we'll show you that process as soon as we get it mixed up. Alright, when you mix this mortar, you want to mix this mortar up. It's got to be pretty heavy, like peanut butter consistency. If you mix it too thin, it's going to want to fall back out. It's got to be heavy so you can push it in around those nails and get it to bite. So you add just a little water at a time. And that's why I only do half a bag at a time, because you can get the you can always add a little extra mortar to get that compound a little thicker if you add too much water. So we'll get this mixed up and we'll be back and throw some on some logs. Alright, so we got our mortar mixed up. That's about half a bag. That fits right in my mortar bucket. I took a 5-gallon bucket, cut it in half, slid them together, put a couple screws in it. It's a low profile and I can get in there and get the mortar easy. A few different tools we got for putting this mortar in. We got the bigger trowel, we got a pointing tool, and we got a small trowel. The bigger trowel is just for holding it. Pointing tool, obviously for pushing in between the logs there. That way I can work it in real good, get it in between those nails, around those nails in between the logs. You don't need to put too much on there, just a little bit. Just work at it slow. Kind of feed that off there. You're probably going to be backwards for me because I'm left-handed. So I do things the right way. That'll get people going. So we work on that. And you just keep working that mortar. And you skim your trowel over it. And it brings the water to the surface. And that gives it that nice smooth finish. And you want to taper that so it tapers out. So when, now we're on the deck here, so this is covered anyway. But when water comes against it, you want it to come down this log and hit this edge and then run down the face and over to the next log. You don't want anything that's going to follow back underneath. Otherwise there was no point in putting any chinking on it. So we'll keep working this. And you gotta be able to switch hands. It's a little more difficult when you gotta go backwards from what's natural to you. I get a little bit more mortar. Get a little more mortar, not much. Again, just a little bit to work with there. Push that in there. And don't be afraid when we get these, you get a little mortar on your log there. You don't have to worry about that so much. Once that dries, you can take a wire brush and clean that surface right up. It'd be like it was never there. When you first come back and see it, it's going to look terrible because all the water that comes out of this mortar will run down the face of that log and it looks like it stained it, but it doesn't. You can clean it off with a wire brush and make it look good again. And that's why I'm mortaring this before I seal the logs. So that way I have that opportunity. If the logs were sealed, I don't know how well that would work. I haven't done it. So I'm going to mortar them before I seal them. And you can see there, that's pretty well finished. We got this vertical joint. And we're going to come across and do this other joint here. And we'll just keep piling in more mortar. And you just got to work it slow. You can always add more, you can take more away. You got plenty of working time and you don't have to rush it. And again, this is my second time doing this because my first batch didn't work out. It was a try it and see kind of thing and it didn't work, so we're going to pull it back out. We're going to redo it. It's not a huge deal, it's just a matter of putting in the hours, doing the work. You don't know if something works until you try it. Again, you want to keep working that surface until it gets that nice glossy finish on it. That's what helps that surface shed water. If you leave it rough and porous, it absorbs water and then it'll hold it against the log. So you want to skim that surface until it has that sheen to it.
I had like 6 of those in my mouth.
Now that's what the finished joint looks like going across. We're going to fill in this vertical joint here. That's a little bit more difficult, but we're going to do the horizontal joints first. You can see the nails along here for holding them in. That helps hold the mortar in. And you want to leave them exposed. You get that shank sticking down and you want to push that mortar in and get it in back around that nail so it'll hold in there. If it's just sitting on the surface, it can fall back out because the logs shrink and expand and there's seasonal change. Okay, so we finished up doing the mortar. You can see we got all around the window there. We got that all mortared. The lighter color is the stuff I did about a week ago. So we patched into that. It should match up pretty well. And then you can see up here, that's where the open spaces, that's where we ran out of mortar. And we'll finish those up the next time we come out and do a batch. Probably in a couple days or something. And we gotta go up. You can see the expandifoam up there. I use that as a backer. Spray expandifoam in there, fill it up, and then tear it back. Pound nails in there for it to bite on. That way I just don't have to put, you know, pounds and pounds of mortar in there. That expandifoam fills it up a lot nicer and it gives it a little more insulation. So that's it for now. We're gonna head back to the farm here shortly. We're gonna go across the swamp here. You can maybe faintly see the farm off in the distance there. You can just see the buildings. We're going to head that direction. That's not the direction we came in. We came in from the south. We're going to head to the east and go over to the farm. And we're going to stop and take a look at that big island. That's an island I'm looking at buying from the gentleman that owns it. He said I could go out there and take a look. So that's what we're going to do now.